Welcome to the Metal Boys. Today on the show, Alan.
One of my all-time favorites.
Your all-time favorite.
Listening to him since I was a little tyke about this.
Little baby.
About the 6 years old.
Yeah.
Alice Cooper.
Yeah. Paranormal.
Paranormal.
Gee. What is this? This is like it's like a 100th album. What do we got here?
Well, you know, this is, I think, his first studio album since Welcome to My Nightmare 2.
Yeah.
He's got the diversity of that album. I think this is a fantastic album. I love it. I couldn't stop listening to it. So if you look at, how do you want to do this? Track by track, you want to...
I want to break this down, okay?
Yeah, break this down.
There's different fans of Alice Cooper. You got the 70s Alice Cooper band fans. You got the 80s Alice Cooper, the, you know, I'm back, Jason, I'm back, sort of Friday the 13th. Late 80s. Then you have the Hey Stupids.
Talk about the early 80s. Then
you have the metal of the, let's say, the Millennium, let's say the Brutal Planet fans. So you have a lot of different, you know, fans of Alice Cooper who like the different periods of Alice Cooper. This here will not appeal in my what I think.
I hear what you're
won't
saying.
appeal to the heavy metal fans of Alice Cooper.
There's always been variation in a lot of his albums. If you like Welcome to My Nightmare Tour 2, I think you're gonna love this. It's got the same types of variations. So let's get to the songs, Jim.
Paranormal. That's the first track. For me, Alan, it's the best track on the album.
It's Alice Cooper at his creepiest best.
Yes.
And what more can you say? That's a great start off to the album. So if you like that song and you go back to the albums like Along Came a Spider, which was a concept album, and he really went to the darkest side of the Alice Cooper character on that. A lot of people thought it was a little too scary. He was kind of like a homicidal maniac. This song would have fit in perfectly on that album.
Yeah. And you know what? This is a creepy song.
Yeah.
This is not a heavy metal fan song. This is a very organic 70s.
Yeah, but after the bridge, it kind of goes into Judas Priest territory.
That's true too. That's true too. It mixes up very progressive. And Roger Glover is actually a guest on this track. And you could sense that proggy sort of 70s feel and that influence of Roger from that.
Okay.
All right, the second track.
Dead Fly.
Dead Fly. This is more of a Stevie Ray Vaughan blues type of track.
Really?
Yeah. It's got that Stevie Ray Vaughan sort of blues.
I thought it was the
guitar feel.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't pick up on that.
But a great track once again, you know. And then here it is, Fireball.
That's Deep Purple meets Motorhead.
That's right.
That's what I said. Right there, Fireball's a great song.
You know, a nice...
See, we got slide in little keyboards like John Lord in there, if you notice.
Yes. A driving tune. That's what it is, a driving tune.
Paranoiac Personality. Say that 20 times fast. The bass lines, you know, lifted right off of Believer, Ozzy Osbourne, off of Diary of a Madman.
Yes.
But again, you got commentary on social networking, I think, that song.
That was the lead-off single. Yeah. I think it was either the lead-off single or the single. A lot of, again, this is where it goes to my point. A lot of metal fans said, oh, I don't like this Alice. But the classic the classic Alice Cooper fans will say, wow, this is cool. One thing about Alice Cooper, this guy is a brilliant songwriter. He touches on all sort of aspects, from swing to she-bop to heavy metal to hard rock to prog. You know, he touches on everything.
The next one is Fallen in Love with Billy Gibbons. That's your straightforward Texas R&B right there. Kind of a driving. Talk about a driving song.
Your ZZ Top. That's your ZZ Top.
You're driving through the state of Texas on that song.
Dynamite Road.
Dynamite Road is when the devil rode down to Georgia. Remember that hit from the late 70s there? That's what that is.
It's got a swing beat. You know,
that's something the Stray Cats would be proud of. That's a pure rockabilly right there.
Oh, rockabilly.
That's what you call it there. And then what do you want to go to next?
Dynamite Road.
No, what about Private Dynamite Road? We just spoke about that.
Oh, sorry.
Private Public Breakdown.
Yeah, that was okay.
That's what AC/DC, if you listen to that, the way it ends and everything. Yeah. And listen to that, the chords sound just like AC/DC. At the end, he even does the, you know, just like Our Backs in Black. So that's a really catchy kind of tune. And then you got Holy Water. Well, that's just a revival song. That's Take Me Down to the River Gospel and Dunk Me In.
Yeah. Well, that would fall into the Welcome to My Nightmare sort of vibe.
It's got the big brass that takes you right back to both of the Welcome to My Nightmare. The big horns coming in, and again, that's you know, we debated this on Welcome to My Nightmare 2. Is this a metal album? This is called The Metal Voice. But the godfather of shock rock. Yep. I mean, he deserves to be on this show and reviewing this album. That's why we're doing it.
Then
Rats. Rats, just pure rock and roll.
Pure rock and roll.
That's like, it reminds me of the Motorhead's Ramones. You know, quick in and out there. Rock and roll kind of tune, and Then the what is it? The Sound of A?
Sounds of A, yeah. The Sound of A.
That could have been off
Psychedelic. Yeah.
That could have been off any Alice Cooper albums in the late 60s, early 70s. It fits in perfectly to that kind of mood. Brings you right back to that time. So
just so everybody knows, this is a 2 CD album, we'll call it, or a 2 CD set. The first part is the Alice Cooper solo album, the new songs, and the second part is the live tracks, the hits. There's some live tracks, about 5 or 6, plus 2 songs from the Alice Cooper Band.
There you go.
So it's like a little mini
What
disc.
are the 2 songs, I mean?
And those 2 songs are Genuine American Girl.
Oh, that's the next one we're going to talk about.
A little bit of a she-bop, maybe.
You have the Beach Boy backing vocals on that,
that's
you know?
Right. Yeah.
And again, what I've always loved about Alice Cooper is a sense of humor. Here's Alice singing about being a genuine American girl.
Yeah.
With all the clothing and the accessories that go along with it, the mascara.
That's right.
It's pure comic genius from Alice Cooper, and I guess we could say the Alice Cooper Band in this particular instance.
And you and all your friends is the last track off the Alice Cooper Band mini disc, I guess, which is another great tune. You know, it's got that sort of like intro of "Wanna Be Elected." You know,
I have that written down here as the early Alice Cooper Band meets the Who.
Yeah,
if you listen to the drummings on there and everything, it's got that kind of pinball wizard kind of sound, or on the guitars. I think there's a big Who influence on that one.
So also, Alan, just before we close off, Millie Grimmett, she has a couple of words she wants to say about this album. So Millie, tell us what you thought about the new album by Alice Cooper.
Hi, Millie Grimmett here from Grim Reaper. I'm going to do a little review for you of the new Alice Cooper album Paranormal, which comes out the end of July of this year. Now this album I found it quite a challenging one to review because I'm not that keen on the album, to be completely frank. I don't think it's the best Alice Cooper work out by a long shot. I really enjoyed the last album, Welcome to My Nightmare, that came out in 2011. I really enjoyed that album. This album is pretty different. It's not metal. There is some tones of country in there. There's a little bit of big band notes. There's some bluesy stuff in there, sort of rock pop type stuff, but it's not metal. So for die-hard metal fans, I would say that this wasn't really for you. But for true Alice Cooper fans, I'm sure you'll love it. Alice Cooper himself is a unique, quirky person, and his music very much reflects that. And every song on every album reflects that. So this is probably true Alice Cooper style in his funny, unique way. Saying that, the opening track, Paranormal, I think is the strongest track on here. When the album first started, and you just hear the first few beats, then I thought, you know what, I think this is going to be a really good album. But then after the first couple of songs, I thought, maybe not. If I was just chilling out and, I don't know, just wanted some downtime, then, you know, some of the album would be okay. But I mean, the last couple of tracks on the album I'm not even going to mention, because I just listened to those and thought, I don't even know what this is. So for Alice Cooper fans, I'm sure you'll love it. Strong metalheads, I don't think you will. But don't take my word for it. If you want to have a listen, you still want to buy it, download it, whatever, please do go ahead. But through my opinion, for the music that I like, I probably would only give it a 5.5 out of 10, I'm afraid. Okay, this is Millie from Grim Reaper, and I will be in touch soon. Take care. God bless.
So there you have it, Alan. Okay, so let's get down to a rating. I mean, you would have to rate this based on his catalog, and you have to rate this based on where does this album sort of end up in the whole catalog of rock and roll and hard rock.
The one thing is missing, he's always tried to put a ballad on, right? The Women Bleed and a few others off of it. Even I think Along Came a Spider had one. This one's kind of missing that.
Yep.
But it goes back to the early Alice Cooper feel.
Yep.
Where does it fit in? I mean, there's so many albums, Jim. I mean, it's his next progression. I mean, there's no more limits, there's no more restrictions. He does whatever he wants. Great lyrics, like you always said. Great production. He's always got top-notch musicians.
Yeah.
And the production is really fantastic. I mean, I was listening to this with some headphones, and the sound really just jumped out at me. So, it's what do we expect from an ultimate professional, right? I mean, this is it. You do not want to follow this guy on stage.
Yeah, that's right.
And here's another solid album. Again, it goes back to what we're talking about, Jim, lots of times. Saxon, all these bands, UFO, that are coming out with some of their strongest albums ever.
Yep.
I mean, this, you can't even compare the 80s catalogs, besides Trash, maybe, to something like this.
It's definitely in his, I would dare to say, if Welcome to My Nightmare and $1 Billion Babies would be like his best albums, this would sort of fall a little bit under there, I guess, somewhere in the top 7 Alice Cooper albums. Definitely a strong album. I mean, all well around. The heavy metal fans will not like this album because it sort of goes into non-heavy metal directions. There is a touch of metal in there. There's a lot of a vibe of heavy metal.
Great guitar work.
This is like blues, hard rock, she-bop, swing. He's just throwing it all out there. So I think if I had to rate this, 8.5 out of 10 would definitely be somewhere where I would think,
You know, Jim, more and more with the amount of music out there and reviews we're trying to fit in, first listens.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, the first listen of this album was, I'd go back and listen to this all week long. I mean, I would listen to it all day.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, that says it all. When you have an album that you can just listen to the first time and you want to immediately go back. We used to put the needle right back to start, but now I guess you would just download the first song. That's what it's all about for me, so.
There you have it. Alice Cooper, 8.5 out of 10. Would you say that's a fair rating?
I'd say probably a 9 out of 10, yeah.
There you have it on the Metal Voice. Thank you to Millie Grimmett for her review as well, tuning in. And, well, thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks for watching another edition of the Metal Voice.